Hello guys. Welcome back to GDT Tech Reviews. In this video we are going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best cameras for YouTube. So let us get started and the review based on our studies and small research. If you have any personal suggestion, do let us know in the comments section. If you are for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon for more videos. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use to for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. So let's get started. While many vloggers would prefer using mirrorless or even DSLR cameras, Sony aims to offer most of the advanced features found in such cameras, but in a more compact form factor. The dimensions of the Sony ZV-1 are very similar to those of Sony's RX107 digital camera. The ZV-1 weighs about 294 grams with a battery and memory card, which is still pretty light. It's also small enough to easily slip into your back pocket if needed. There's a small rubber insert in the front, which acts as a mini hand grip, and another at the back for your thumb. The outer body is built mostly of plastic, but it feels sturdy and the textured surface offers decent grip. The top of the Sony ZV-1 features a hot shoe connector, a 3-capsule microphone, and a series of buttons. The back of the camera also has some more buttons, which are smaller than the ones on the top, and are not easiest to use. The circular jog dial at the back also doubles up as a directional pad, but feedback is a bit soft and not very tactile. In order to make the ZV-1 vlog friendly, Sony has moved the movie record button from its typical place at the back to the top. It's a lot larger too, which makes it easier to use. You also get a large, diffused red LED indicator next to the lens in the front to let you know when video is being recorded. A 3.5mm microphone input, micro USB port, and micro HDMI port are placed on the right of the Sony ZV-1. The ports are covered with plastic flaps, however these are not weather sealed. There's no electronic viewfinder on the ZV-1. The sensor in the EOS M6 Mark II gets a dramatic boost in resolution over the one in the M6, packing more pixels than ever before on a Canon APS-C sensor. To go with it, there's the latest Digicate processing engine, which gives the M6 Mark II an impressive speed boost over the M5 and the M6, specifically 14 FPS shooting with continuous autofocus at full resolution. A 30 FPS RAW burst mode is also available, if you can live with just 18 megapixels. Another welcome improvement is the addition of uncropped 4K video recording, and this, along with its tilting screen, microphone socket and small size, could make the M6 Mark II an interesting choice for vloggers. Autofocus-wise, we've got some new functionality in the form of eye detection, which we've seen previously on Canon's EOS R and EOS RP full-frame mirrorless models, although don't expect to use it for more than one subject. New 32.5MP CMOS sensor. 14 FPS shooting uncropped 4K video recording. Sensor. 32.5MP APS-C CMOS screen. 3.0-inch tilting touchscreen. 1.04 million dots burst shooting. 14 FPS 30 FPS RAW burst mode autofocus. 143 phase detect points video. 4K at up to 30 FPS 1080p Full HD up to 120 FPS connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB-C battery life. The Osmo Pocket is small enough to fit in your, pocket. It measures 4.8 by 1.5 by 1.1 inches and weighs 4.1 ounces. The body is a solid brick, finished in dark gray. The camera itself sits at the top, mounted on a 3-axis gimbal. Gimbals are a little fragile by nature, so G includes a protective case with the Pocket. It's a good idea to use it, especially if you expect the Osmo to live in your pants pocket. The concept of gimbal stabilization is a simple one. Instead of using electronic methods or optical stabilization, a gimbal uses silent, brushless motors and gyroscopes to keep the camera perfectly level to the ground at all times. There's some calibration needed to get their G-skipped internal memory, instead putting a single micro SD slot on the side. It supports media up to 256 GB in capacity. The Lumix GH5S isn't too different from the GH5 in terms of design. The layout of the buttons is pretty much the same as on last year's model. There's a healthy selection of 6 programmable FN buttons all around the camera, plus you can assign shortcuts to the control dial at the back, and even add some more to the right side of the on-screen menu. The body doesn't feel too heavy by itself, but snap on a lens, and it does get bulky. We really like the grip that the GH5S offers. The hand grip is quite thick with ample rubber cladding, so even those with large hands will find it comfortable to hold. The arrangement of the drive modes is the same as on the GH5, but it should be noted that the GH5S offers 4K burst shooting versus 6K on the GH5, due to its lower resolution sensor. There's no built-in flash, but there is a hot shoe for attaching an external one. You get an old electronic viewfinder, which delivers a 100% field of view. A sensor lets you automatically switch between the LCD screen and the EV by bringing the camera to your eye. The EV's 3.6 million dot resolution produces really crisp images, and you can opt for a 120 FPS refresh rate rather than the default 60 FPS, for more fluid motion. The Lumix GH5S uses a 10.2 megapixel micro four thirds sensor in a mirrorless body, which is around half the resolution of the standard GH5. This allows for larger pixels, which should help the Lumix GH5S in low light, and is what this camera was primarily designed for. The Lumix GH5S also boasts of what Panasonic calls dual. The G7X Mark III comes in at 2.4 by 4.1 by 1.6 inches and 10.7 ounces. It's small enough to slide into my pocket comfortably, even though it's thicker than a phone. Materials are a mix of plastic and metal. It's not quite as solid feeling as the G5X, which uses metal in places the G7 doesn't, including the top plate and exterior chassis. But the G7 does have a decent hand grip, one that I like better than the flat front used by Sony in its RX100 III. The zoom lens falls in between the RX100 III and G5X in coverage. It's a 24-100mm f1.8-2.8 design, a bit longer than the 24-70mm f1.8-2.8 in Sony's similar camera, but shy of the G5X Mark II's 24-120mm f1.8-2.8 range. In practical terms, there's not a huge difference in reach, but the longer zooms can net a bit blurrier background when zoomed all the way in. The G7 puts a control ring around the lens itself. It can be used as shutter or aperture control, depending on the mode.